Hey guys, Officer Lee here, coming with a different type of video. As you can see, we are in Minecraft. And before I get crap for playing Minecraft, or everything is like, oh, you're going to be a scrub for playing Minecraft, you know, it's like, good, just put it in the comment section, whatever. I don't really care at this point. There's a reason why I posted it, because I thought it was taking a significant amount of my time, to the point where it's like, I may as well just post it on here, you know, and use some content out of it, because personally I think it could be pretty cool. So right now what you're seeing me do is I'm setting up the path to the new terminal that I'm going to be building in my airport. Now, my old airport is fully completed and everything, but it was originally, when I designed it, was probably about 2 years ago, and so building wise and skills definitely have gotten a lot better at building. Although what you just saw me right there is just figuring out what radius that I need for the circle right there. You'll see me do that maybe once or twice more, but I've sort of memorized some of the curves already. So but the reason why, as you see, you already heard from me, I want to sort of update the airport. And so I had basically two choices when I was thinking about with the airports: either do a major overhaul of the already existing building, which was still in a pretty small area. I'm not sure if I'll ever show it on here, but it's a very small area that I wasn't too happy with now, like the skills of building and everything. It's like, it was nice back then, but I like it better the way it is. Now, that building you can sort of see right there in the picture. You can sort of see it sort of looks like another terminal building. That was a second terminal building that I was deciding to build. I was going to build out in the sea, but then I decided not to. Also, you can sort of see, if maybe when I poke through the ground, there's a bunch of wooden planks and whatnot. That was from a little bit glitch of an accident that happened when I was doing World Edit originally, when I first started messing around with World Edit like a year and a half, 2 years ago. And I made a little error, and it screwed up the whole map. Well, that part of the map, actually. Not the whole map. It wasn't that much, but it took a little while to recover everything and whatnot. But you'll see me here. I'm going to end up putting a layer of dirt under all of the surface where I'm going to be building my road, just to sort of cut down on some of the lag while I'm playing. Because otherwise it has to load up every single time, like that huge abyss under it. So anyways, back to that terminal right there. That second terminal, I was planning to build a huge area out into the sea, but I looked to it as like it would have been a huge undertaking to try and build a tarmac and everything out there, and I was very clueless on the spacing and everything and whatnot, and I wasn't really 100% sure how it was going to work. So I decided not to do that. So that's when I decided to try and redo the terminal that I already have. That's why I came up with this plan to just rebuild the whole terminal and parking garage. Now the new terminal that I'm building, I've calculated about the I guess square blockage. I think they've said that block in Minecraft's a meter, so I got square meterage is going to be 4 times my old terminal, so it's going to be very big, and it's going to look hopefully very well. You'll see in future episodes where I pick up the design for it and everything. Right now I'm just sort of making the major intersection. I'm redoing the changes for it, and also starting the lanes that will go around to sort of hook up to the level of the terminal. And this area of where I'm planting the grass and everything, I'm going to end up sticking a parking garage in here later. You'll see me build that. So you can get a better view of this terminal right now. This terminal that I was doing was maybe half a year ago when I started building that. And so I really enjoyed that design. However, it would not really fit into what I sort of wanted to do with my new terminal, and it wouldn't have really fit into a redesign of the old terminal over there that you can see. So I wasn't going to use the original terminal building. I put it over to the side just in case I wanted to use any ideas from it. I still have it kept because there are some interior designs that I really like since it's pretty current. It's up to what my standards of building are. I'm going to use some of the interior designs from it into my new terminal building. So that one, though, is going to go bye-bye, which I'm a little bit sad to see because I really liked working on that. As you can see here, I'm sort of going to Midway right now in Chicago. The sort of base off of Chicago is where I live. For those of you who know, and for those of you that don't know. So I was looking at Midway. I've been through Midway a lot, and so I was trying to sort of judge, since it's just something I'm pretty similar, I'm trying to judge how I'm going to lay out my road and everything, and the hooking up to the terminal and the parking garages, and also Google Maps was not cooperating with me and loading in there. I'm not sure if you caught that or not. So I ended up just sort of like, well, screw it. I'll just start building and figure it out on my own. So right here is the beginning to the entrance of the parking garage. I'm going to have 4 entrance lanes to the parking garage and 4 exit lanes for ticketing and whatnot. And I'll explain more about the parking garage once it gets built and everything. Until then, but basically you just sort of got a little significant, just a little bit of a layout of how everything's going right here. The intersection back there, if you saw like the huge sort of thing that curved right in front of the old terminal, that would be a highway they have connecting to go out to sort of a farm area back out in the other direction. I think it's south? I think it's south of this, or maybe it's north. I'm not sure. It's either south or north because I know it's perpendicular to my runway. But anyways, so that's that highway, and then I have my other major road that connects up to that intersection that sort of leads into my city, which you might get some distant shots of some of the buildings I've done here and there while I'm doing all this, but none of it's going to get showcased right now because all of this time lapse that I'm going to be doing is going to be focusing on the airport. Now, the design that I'm doing right here is just sort of judging how I'm going to space out the parking garage and everything, and all the ticketing lanes and whatnot. Now, I am going to set up those booths, as you will see me do, but they're not going to have any of their details in originally. I just have it there just so I can sort of space everything out, and I'll put the detailing in later. That's just sort of the placekeeping. So, let's see what we got going on next here. I got all that filled out. I believe the next thing I'm going to work on is the exit path. No, no, I don't know. Oh, I guess why I know what I'm doing right here. Is I'm trying to figure out how I'm exactly going to connect all this back up. There we go. And then we cut back to O'Hare, trying to look exactly at what's going on. So it's hard to sort of for me to figure out what in the world I'm doing because I don't have everything measured out exactly. You know, this isn't like real principal engineering where I'm going to have everything laid out and designed. I don't have like some sort of software maybe that I can lay block by block where I can sort of design the whole thing. So here I realized that I'm probably going to add in a 4th lane to sort of help redo the traffic coming from both the higher level and the lower level. So that's what I just did right there. But yeah, as I was going back to the engineering part of it and everything, I do sort of get a general idea of what I want to do. But for me especially, when I don't have that many constraining limits on what I need to do when I'm designing stuff, I actually find it's harder for me to do something creative because there's so many thoughts just sort of going through my head of what I can do, what I do here, what I do there, how I'm going to line everything up. I get huge elaborate plans, multiple of them on how to sort of fix everything right there and whatnot. So here you're going to see me clear out this part of the mountain too. So I'm going to need that for part of the roadway. Now this other section, you can sort of see the railroad right there. that was supposed to connect up to the Terminal 2 that I was going to build there. And I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to end up making a stop for it somewhere along there. Maybe have it hook up to the parking garage or anything. Here's the other thing. I have a shuttle, a airport shuttle that goes from the old terminal and runs all the way to the central rail station that I built. It's got two underground sections for regular trains, and then recently, wave like a year past the terminal, the old terminal, I think I started construction on a high-speed line, and so then I ended up building a station. Oh, you can get sort of a nice look right there of the city and whatnot. So I might go back over the city a little bit in one of these videos just to sort of showcase everything. Oh man, I just sort of think that I'm trying to test to make sure the curves all good and everything. So then it's a lot easier to try and copy and paste. I can guarantee you, without World Edit, this would be impossible for me to do with the amount of time and patience that it would take me. It's a long enough process already with World Edit and just doing it by myself, but it works, and it actually can get some really good things going. So here I'm trying to judge how I'm going to do the elevated section to it and everything. I wasn't 100% sure on which road layout I was going to choose. I know I finally decided to go with these two on the outside. The reason I sort of build it and then leave it is because I'm still not 100% sure at this point on what my terminal design is going to be. Now in a later episode, the third one I think, is when I'm going to start showcasing my terminal design. You'll get a real good look at that. Now there, I was also trying to judge like the height of how that inside of the building, because I wanted a larger ceiling height to my terminal than versus what the old one. So I was sort of using that newer one that I had built as a judge for everything, because that was still within my parameters of what I thought was really good designing for buildings and whatnot in Minecraft, for me at least. So I sort of using parts of that. You'll see me maybe go back there once or twice more throughout the series to sort of figure out what I'm going to do with everything, just for spacing and whatnot. 'Cause I do have a lot of designs in there that I still want to incorporate, as I said before, into my new terminal. So, but reason why I don't officially do it, and I do it to this height, but I will make it higher in a later episode. You'll see, because I end up re-changing on the height and everything on how I'm going to structure my terminal. But once you see that go up, you'll also see that I actually have my final design to the terminal, in which also I have the fully complete parking garage built, which is actually really freaking huge. So I'm going to build this stuff right up to the edge of this curve, and then I'm just going to leave it there because I'm not 100% sure still on how I'm doing that road layout. I decide at that point that I'll leave it up until I design the terminal, and then I can sort of figure out on how I'm going to do that, which I still haven't done yet. But I will get around to that, because I think I've got the outside, like the actual just walls of the thing built. But I've got nothing else really, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do next. I'm going to sort of design a little bit more of the roof and everything of the terminal, or if I'll sort of go for the street or not. Now here you can see me doing, I'm building a little section off the roadway here. This is going to be our exit point to the garage. And so you can see me sort of mess around with the blocks right there. The probably number one most pain that I have with World Edit is diagonals and curves. I think there's probably little commands that you can sort of do to maybe possibly do an angle or a curve. But I think it's a lot of math. I remember when I was looking into a lot of the edits that I could do with World Edit and whatnot, so I only remembered the stuff that I figured I really needed and everything else I just sort of forgot. So I think it was a huge ton of math, and so I was like, I have to do a lot of planning out before I would do it. And so the way I sort of work is I sort of start building. I get a general idea, as I said before, I get a general idea of what I want to do, but I'll just sort of start building, and then again my ideas start twisting and changing, especially when I don't have limitations like that. I just have a huge green space right here, huge area to just sort of build and do whatever I want. So it's like I had really no idea what I wanted to do. So that little thing that I'm building right here right now is just actually going to be the actual sort of input and output area of how people are going to access the garage after they go through the ticketing area, or after they're done going through the garage to go to the exit area to pay for everything. And I don't know why that actually paused right there. That's weird. Wondering if I was thinking about how I'm going to space out my garage actually. So I know somewhere along here, actually I take some huge long pauses because I wasn't 100% sure on where exactly I was going to put out to my garage. My original plan was to have the entrance and exit areas that I'm building right here, to have those areas outside and have my garage along the edge right here. But then I sort of wanted it to be a bigger garage and have more parking spaces, because I was getting rid of not only the parking garage that's going to be in front of the old terminal. I'm going to be getting rid of that one because that's going to be replaced by new tarmac area, and then the new terminal for the gate side that I'm going to be building right there. But also I got rid of the auxiliary parking garage that was actually bigger than the one in front of the terminal, because that one was actually a really bad design on my part, because I really didn't know how I was building garages and everything at the time. But the auxiliary garage is actually my first, what I consider, successful garage. And that's the other one that's out in the sea, floating above the water next to my old terminal. I made copies out there just in case I wanted to take any designs or whatnot from it. But I ended up not using anything from the old parking garage. I figured I probably didn't, but I kept it just in case for whatever reason. But that's actually probably my first successful making of a garage. At this point, the exit and entry points are for the ticketing and everything are all done. I just need to put in detailing like some grass and everything to sort of make it a little bit nicer. Put some details inside the ticketing booth. Besides that, everything else looks good to me. So back to the garage and everything. So that's why I wanted to make the garage bigger, besides getting rid of the auxiliary garage and the one in front of the terminal. So I wanted to sort of make it look like you're taking up the space for all of that, for all of those spaces. See, me here, I'm sort of planning out on the parking spaces and everything. And so I had three ideas. It's the one to just keep it over the grass area right there. The second one was to extend it over the ticketing area, or I mean, not ticketing area, but the entry and exit areas to get into the garage. And then the third idea was to extend the whole thing out over the main road. And I was debating about it for a while. Now, I didn't really want to. Originally, I didn't put that third option where I can have like a middle point where it's just over the ticketing area. I didn't consider that as an option originally. The only two options that I really considered was the one just in the small little green area, and the one that extended all the way over the road system, which I felt would have just been a huge, gigantic monstrosity, and I wasn't 100% sure if it would look good in the, like, a term of looking like an airport sort of thing. It's like it just would have been so huge and obnoxious that it's just like there's no point of having it extend all the way over. And so I didn't want to do something that, yeah, I'm pausing here to sort of figure that one out. So I didn't want to do something like that, but I didn't want to. I'm just messaging somebody in Discord, don't mind that. So I didn't want to do something that was like going to ruin the look of everything and whatnot and extend it all the way out over there. but I felt like that parking area just within the green space was too small. And so then I finally, I'm not sure if it's in this episode or the next one, I decide on a road layout that also conforms to the area that I want to fit it in. And it actually fits really nicely. So right here I'm deciding which way I'm going to do parking spots. And actually I decided to do a diagonal parking on here, which is a first for me. I've never done diagonal parking. I always do the straight parking spots like that. That's always been my parking design no matter what since I built that first parking garage. And I haven't done anything interesting since, and I figured I was just sort of messing around with everything. I looked at it and it's like, I thought a diagonal parking design might be interesting. Sort of shorten up the area of where you're driving to try and maximize the amount of parking spots but not make the building so huge. And so I sort of decided decided to do a diagonal parking design for the parking garage. And when you'll see when I'm totally done with the parking garage, it actually comes out pretty nicely done. I think it looks really nice. Now here, obviously, I'm not sure if you can notice, but these parking spots are shorter and also not as wide as the other ones, and so sometimes I will add those in just to sort of make them like motorcycle / scooter parking spots. So I mean, like, I figured there's got to be some people that just end up riding their motorcycle or scooter to the airport and whatnot. So I was like, I do see that actually more common now in real life, where you'll see just specific parking spots for scooters or motorcycles in garages, which actually I think adding that little addition in there makes it a little bit cooler. So here I'm also trying to decide, I know, is where I'm going to exactly stick the up and down ramp. And so here I'm sort of fixing the median and how I'm going to stick that and make that connect up to the on-ramp that's going to go up to the different levels. And the problem that I'm going to have to sort of deal with later is when I extend the parking garage out to the edge of the roadway on both sides, I do that, but not over either one. It doesn't line up with the lower level. So that makes building the second level and even the third level, because the first, second, and third levels are all different designs from each other, just because of the way I have the system for cars going up and down, because these the parking spots and everything don't line up. So it makes it a little bit of a challenge to try and copy and paste stuff to go up, which sort of how I work now is sort of make modular buildings where I can take a floor, do all the detailing on that one floor, and then copy and paste it as I go up the building. And that's how I sort of been doing buildings now on my map, because it just sort of makes it easier, but it doesn't really cut down on the detailing if you do it right. But if you want to sort of make it even more in depth and you want to do varying levels of the building and whatnot, then yeah, you'll have to do some modifying. But I tend to do more modular stuff to just sort of cut down on the building time and process with that. Now the terminal, I'm thinking about this right now because I already have the out layer of the terminal. That one's going to be very interesting on how I'm going to design that. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to really copy and paste stuff within it. Let me just take it in time. So I'm just about to run out here. So before we, I'm going to pause the video right here and probably just put something in. So I was talking about the terminal, just to say this one little thing is I don't know how exactly I'm going to design the interior or whatnot. I have no idea how that's going to go. All I know is for a fact is I have the outside skin down for it. I also have the idea of I want a pedestrian path going over the highway, because that's the only way I think that's going to work. Otherwise I'm going to have to put in like a people mover or something like that. But I sort of want a bridge, and that actually coincidentally is what Midway is like. So that's just actually a happy accident. I wasn't trying to plan that at all, but just like the space-wise and what I needed. So anyways, I will be doing a couple more videos on the airport, and I could do this just sort of more as a regularly thing over my city, where I just sort of go throughout and build stuff, because I know I've always got projects going on with my city and everything. It's just something that's never ending. I've been building upon this thing probably for about 4 years now, and it's definitely come a long way since the little village that it was before. Actually, the city is based on a village that was just spawned in a regular Minecraft map, and so I ended up just building upon that village, and then I sort of upgraded to like asphalt roads, which is just black wool and everything, but gain like that type of stuff in bigger buildings and whatnot that look nicer away from the wood and cobblestone that they used to make villages with. But I still find it funny that is my roads that are in the main part of the city are still like over what the old gravel paths were inside the village. So I just sort of find it funny they ended up just keeping that layout all the way through all of my redesigning and rebuilding of the city. So if you guys want to see me showcasing parts of my city too, and show me building parts of the city in a time lapse like this, because I know I will continue doing the airport regardless, but you guys want to see some of that after I'm done with my airport, please comment that below. And I'm always interested in seeing new building designs and everything, because I think some people can do really cool stuff. I know I get better all the time with my building, and I say I'm a fairly good designer with some of this stuff, but there's some really incredible works out there. So I'm always interested into looking into new designs, new building techniques, so send that stuff my way in the comments. Be very appreciated. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.